Um, exactly like it is this year. It'd be perfect for me. 14 and 4 majors. I'd take that for the rest of my career. So I really can't see LIV Golf going away. I think team golf is here to stay. And
Cameron Smith just made a huge announcement, and it hits harder than anything from his turbulent 2025 season. Behind the missed cuts, newborn chaos, and his sharpest comments yet on LIV's future, he finally revealed what's coming next. And today, I'll break down the real reason he chose this moment to step forward, and how it rewrites his path, season spiral. The year opened with quiet hope for Cameron Smith, but it didn't take long for that hope to twist into a very public struggle. At 32, he entered LIV Golf's 5th season as captain of Ripper GC, fresh off the high of a 2024 team championship. But the numbers on paper told a completely different story. In his first 5 LIV events of 2025, he managed only one top 10 finish, an early hint that something was slipping. Then came the majors, a gauntlet that turned his season from shaky to historical in all the wrong ways. He missed every single cut, becoming the only player in the field to go 0 for 4. His Masters performance ballooned to +5 after just 2 rounds, with his once trusted irons failing him on Augusta's fast greens. At the PGA Championship at Valhalla, his drives drifted into trouble, erasing birdie chances before they could bloom. Pinehurst No. 2, home of the US Open, exposed sudden putting struggles that contrasted sharply with the silky roll that defined his 2022 prime. And at the Open at Royal Portrush, where echoes of his St. Andrews triumph lingered, his week ended with a final hole bogey and another missed weekend.
British Open champ Cameron Smith is all set to make his LIV Golf debut in Boston this week after headlining the latest list of players to defect from the PGA Tour.
Behind the scorecards, whispers grew. Some in his circle spoke about swing tweaks pushed by coach Sam Reynolds, changes Smith reportedly couldn't commit to when pressure mounted. A Ripper GC insider murmured that he was overthinking the tee to green game, pointing to his driving accuracy dipping to 58%, far from the 68% peak he once commanded. Off the course, life added new layers. The birth of his son Remy in March brought joy but also sleepless nights. Jet lag from constant travel stacked on top of late-night feeds, leaving him drained. Even teammates noticed the shift. At a LIV event in Singapore, he was seen confiding in Mark Leishman about the dad guilt hitting harder than any missed fairway. Meanwhile, Adam Scott tried to diffuse the outside noise, reminding critics that 2 decades at the top takes a toll even on the strongest. Still, Smith's story never stayed down for long. Late-season sparks started to flicker. A gritty T10 at LIV UK, punctuated by a bunker eagle on 14, hinted at something waking back up. In a candid interview with 7 News after the Nest Dallas Open, he admitted the season felt like a grind he couldn't escape. "Feels good in practice, but majors expose you," he said, acknowledging confidence issues but insisting the fight wasn't over. His Ripper GC squad certainly didn't crumble. They captured wins in both Adelaide and Singapore, leaning on Lucas Herbert's red-hot putter. And while the ranking slide to number 91 stung, OWGR's snub of LIV only worsening the numbers, those close to him said he remained determined. One caddy put it simply while watching him walk Royal Queensland: "Cam's a boomerang, always comes back." And with LIV preparing for 72-hole events in 2026, Smith's supporters believed the long game format might be the spark he needed. Format fury. If Cameron Smith's game was wobbling, his voice inside the LIV golf machine certainly wasn't. Throughout 2025, he became one of the league's most outspoken players, equal parts loyal soldier and frustrated truth-teller. When LIV announced a dramatic shift to 72-hole events starting in 2026, Smith didn't just approve, he celebrated. In a sit-down with 7 News, he praised the switch, calling it a game changer that finally aligned LIV with major championship standards. For him, 54 holes felt like a sprint. Fun, intense, but too short for strategy to breathe. He admitted he always played his best over 4 rounds, where mental toughness and patience matter most.
Miss a couple of tournaments. I think for me, Riv was always nice to me and obviously the players. Other than that, I'm really happy with where I'm at.
But Smith's support for the change didn't come from thin air. Inside sources claimed he had pushed for the format switch behind closed doors for months. Rumors from LIV Hong Kong painted a vivid picture. Smith and John Rahm, sharing beers after a press conference, venting about public misconceptions, and the idea that LIV competition wasn't serious enough. Smith reportedly called those assumptions nuts, pointing out how fiercely every player wanted to win. His commentary echoed earlier, when only 3 of 48 players in a preseason questionnaire supported the move. He was one of the few willing to break ranks. As chatter intensified, critics dismissed his support as loyalty bought by his $140 million signing bonus. Smith, unsurprisingly, pushed back. In a Golf Magic interview, he called the easy money narrative tired and inaccurate, insisting that team pressure inside LIV was a beast of its own. Ripper GC's wins, he argued, came from effort, not purse size. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he clashed with LIV CEO Scott O'Neill about promotion strategy. Smith pushed hard for more events in Australia, especially Brisbane. Adelaide had drawn over 100,000 roaring fans, and he wanted that momentum doubled, not diluted. He even joked that Greg Norman's Sydney course design would be cool as for Ripper GC, if the grass grew low enough for proper links mischief. Through it all, his life off the course shaped his stance. He praised LIV's lighter schedule for letting him spend real time with Remy and Chanel, a luxury the PGA Tour had never offered. At LIV Adelaide's playoff win in 2025, he reportedly dedicated the victory to the haters, telling his team he had received calls from PGA figures trying to lure him back, but he wasn't budging. With the R&A beginning to offer exemptions to top LIV finishers, he argued the league's future was finally gaining traction. To Smith, this wasn't rebellion anymore, it was evolution. Ripper rebuild. As the chaotic 2025 season wound down, Cameron Smith's plans for the future sharpened with surprising clarity. While fans speculated about whether he might jump back to the PGA Tour or even step away for family time, Smith revealed a far more controlled and calculated vision. His first priority was simple: keep Ripper GC intact. Zero tweaks, he declared in September. To him, Leishman, Herbert, and Jones weren't just teammates, they were family. In a league buzzing with transfer rumors and big money reshuffles, Smith's refusal to chase star signings spoke volumes. He wanted chemistry, not chaos. Retaining Matt Jones was especially crucial. His contract had been a hot topic in LIV's rumor mill, but Smith pushed hard to keep the veteran anchored. Insiders said he vetoed multiple flashy new player proposals, choosing instead to protect the group that had already proven their grit. For Smith, Ripper GC wasn't just a team, it was a culture, and he wanted that culture to stand strong heading into LIV's 72-hole future. On the technical side, Smith embraced the extended format like a long-lost friend. He called 4-round battles his wheelhouse, reminding fans of his endurance-driven win at St. Andrews. To fix his 2025 major mistakes, he planned a complete overhaul of his pre-Masters preparation. One lesser-known detail came from Golf Australia insiders. Smith had signed a high-performance partnership aiming to blend Ripper's resources with junior pathways. Rumors even suggested a Brisbane training center bearing his name was already in motion, designed to bring young Aussie golfers into LIV's ecosystem while sharpening Smith's own competitive edge. And then came the off-course evolution. Smith hinted at branching out into lifestyle branding, Ripper apparel, fan merch, maybe even a podcast where he could joke about mullet maintenance between swing breakdowns. His team confirmed simulator sessions designed to mimic Troon's Gales, part of a larger strategy to tackle his 2026 Open campaign. Family also shaped his decisions. With little Remy growing fast, Smith contemplated skipping select non-Ripper events to keep travel manageable. The dream? A dedicated Ripper home event in Queensland, a possibility quietly whispered through the Sydney Morning Herald. For Smith, 2026 wasn't just another season, it was redemption in waiting. And he was building the foundation piece by piece. Family flux. While Cameron Smith fought his way through one of the toughest seasons of his career, his home life unfolded with an unexpected mix of sweetness, strain, and full-on emotional chaos. In 2025, his world expanded beyond tee boxes and trophy rooms. The arrival of his son, Remy, in March changed the rhythm of his life almost overnight. Smith, once known for late-night simulator marathons and post-round beers, found himself navigating diaper emergencies and 3 a.m. feedings. His marriage to chiropractor Chanel Naoum, sealed in a glittering Brisbane wedding in 2024, became the anchor holding his scattered year in place. Friends in Brisbane and Florida spoke quietly about how devoted he had become. often skipping sponsor events just to get home for bedtime.
Why did I go to LIV? To spend more time in Australia with friends and family.
Happy with the decision?
Absolutely, wouldn't change a thing.
Life inside their West Palm Beach home took on a new texture. Smith's F1 simulator, once a shrine to speed and solitude, now doubled as a family activity center. Chanel secured a custom baby seat onto the rig so Remy could race laps beside him. Smith narrated the twists and turns like he narrated putts, whispering about apexes the same way he whispered about Augusta breaks. But not everything was cute chaos. Travel weighed heavily on the young family. The trans-Pacific flights left him exhausted, and insiders recalled the moment he skipped a major sponsor dinner in Singapore just to FaceTime home, rocking Remy through a bout of colic. Even his teammates noticed the emotional toll. In one Ripper huddle, he admitted that missing cuts could sting, but missing bedtime felt worse. Support often came from his roots. His parents, Des and Sharon, flew in for the Masters, turning their rental cabin into a home base full of pep talks and backyard-style grounding. Des, who once cut down tiny clubs for toddler Cameron, fell back into the mentor role with ease. His sister Mel hosted a mid-season Queensland barbecue that became legendary within the family chat. There, Smith opened up about dad guilt, confessing how the season's slump gnawed at him. But even within the heaviness, joy still found space. When Ripper GC took a team win at LIV Miami, Smith lifted the trophy during a video call so Remy's hand could touch the victory. A clip went viral of Smith joking that Remy was his lucky charm, before deadpanning that if results didn't improve, the kid might be benched from majors. Small acts told bigger stories. The family made a quiet donation to junior golf programs at Wantima, Des's old club, offering putting sessions to kids who reminded Smith of himself. A caddy friend summed it up perfectly at Valderrama. Cam's not just building a team, he's building a dynasty. Through exhaustion, new love, travel strain, and tiny victories, Smith learned that 2025 wasn't just about his swing, it was about shaping a life beyond birdies. Chaos converges. By the time autumn swept through the tour, Cameron Smith's year looked like a tangle of contradictions. There were high highs, low lows, and dizzying twists that made even his closest friends call 2025 the most Smith year possible. On paper, it was a season defined by frustration. 4 major missed cuts. A dip to number 91 in the world rankings. A string of critiques from analysts who once praised his nerve under pressure. Yet the deeper truth was far stranger and far richer. The same season that knocked him off balance also sharpened his identity as a leader, a father, and a fighter. Inside Ripper GC, his leadership took on mythic status. He steadied Leishman through a wrist scare, kept Herbert focused during a hot streak that produced crucial team points, and personally lobbied to keep Matt Jones when the transfer window tempted other teams to swoop in. Teammates joked that Ripper had become the sentimental squad, but they also admitted that Smith's energy kept them glued together. A new ritual even formed. After each event, the team toasted with VB cans etched with the words "Family First," a nod to the values Smith had been clinging to through the madness. Meanwhile, the broader golf world watched Smith's season unravel in unexpected ways. Critics pointed to his ranking drop like it was a character flaw rather than a statistical footnote. A rumor at Valderrama claimed Smith's double bogey on 15 wasn't a technical mistake. It happened because he had seen a text from Chanel saying that Remy had taken his first steps. Whether true or not, the story captured the emotional frequency of his year. Golf mattered deeply, but family mattered more. And this very shift, insiders argued, gave him the mental resilience that started to show during the season's final events. Even the public narrative around LIV began bending toward him. His commentary, once framed as rebellious, now sounded more like leadership. Fans responded to his raw honesty. They watched him juggle newborn life, team captaincy, a global travel schedule, and a major slump, and somehow still find calm in the storm. At Wantima, his father Des summarized the season in the most dad language possible. Golf's not solitary, it's a team sheet, on and off. In other words, chaos wasn't crushing him, it was refining him. By late 2025, Smith's story had become the season's most relatable saga. Not the tale of a superstar fading, but of a human being evolving. And all that turbulence was about to funnel into one final moment, the announcement. Announcement, aftershock. Then came the reveal. the moment Cameron Smith had timed with masterful precision. As November winds swept across Brisbane, he stepped onto the grounds at Royal Queensland and confirmed what insiders had been whispering for weeks. The huge announcement was no publicity stunt or headline grab. It was a blueprint for the next phase of his legacy. Smith declared his full commitment to LIV's new 72-hole era, anchoring himself as the face of its long-form future. He vowed to lead Ripper GC into 2026 with the exact same roster: Leishman, Herbert, Jones, cementing the loyalty that shaped their 2025 chemistry. And then came the bombshell: a push for a Brisbane home event, positioned as Ripper's signature stop on the LIV calendar.
If you asked every one of us out here, all the 48 guys, I think everyone has such a good time and everyone enjoys what they're doing out here. They love the competition, and like Graham said, that team element really brings 3 or 4 guys really close that perhaps weren't before. So it's good to see. It's unique, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
But the announcement didn't end there. Smith revealed plans for a Ripper lifestyle empire, expanding beyond the fairway into apparel drops tied to their Air Asia partnership, vision boards for a Queensland Junior Academy under Dez's guidance, and early sketches for a family-focused podcast called Rippers and Remmies. He described a new initiative he called the Ripper Legacy Fund, designed to help rebuild flood-hit Brisbane courses using part of his winnings. For a league criticized for its ties and its wealth, this was Smith offering something grounded, local, and deeply personal. He addressed his year with surprising clarity. 2025 cut me, he said, not as an excuse, but as a statement of fact. The missed cuts, the fatigue, the dad guilt, the dips in form, they taught him balance. And now that balance was becoming his weapon, not his weakness. Critics had wondered if he was drifting. This announcement proved he was anchoring. The final message was simple. He wasn't chasing comfort. He was chasing legacy. He wanted to win for Remy, build for Brisbane, lead for LIV, and shape a story bigger than scorecards. As one mate joked after the Nest Dallas Open, Cam's not arriving, he's ascending. The announcement wasn't the end of his chaos. It was the start of his next climb. And just like that, Cameron Smith turned a season of turbulence into a new era of purpose. His huge announcement didn't just shake LIV Golf. It redefined his entire arc. From missed cuts to family triumphs, from team loyalty to legacy creation, Smith now stands at the start of his boldest chapter yet. Stick around. The Ripper Renaissance is only beginning.